But baseball players not spitting, I can't wait to see how they're gonna police that. And I bet you they're gonna pay some nerd to sit in the dugouts and at the end of the game, you go back up the runway, and all of a sudden, okay, here's what we got you for today. All right, you had a really good day today, Bryce. I'm taking a shot here at Bryce Harper. Let's see, you got one single, you struck out 3 times, you had a couple of outfield assists, but we caught you spitting 4 times, and we caught you scratching another 4 times. So we'll just deduct this off your paycheck.
Yeah, well, hey, baseball already has the most stats. Maybe they can throw that in there. It's like on base scratching percentage, on base spitting percentage.
You're listening to Unscripted with Mike and Chris, brutally honest sports talk. And now, here is Mike Jansen.
New York Yankees all-star reliever, the flamethrower, Aroldis Chapman, has tested positive for COVID-19, and the Yankees made the announcement this afternoon that he is out for the foreseeable future. So, again, this disease, or this virus, I should say, be more appropriate, this virus has struck the New York Yankees clubhouse, and their all-star closer, Aroldis Chapman, has again tested positive for COVID-19, and he is out. And all the Yankees would say is he is out for the foreseeable future. Also, we have breaking news from the National Hockey League. As we had mentioned in previous, I think about episode 525, we talked about that the defenseman of the Calgary Flames, the hell's his name
Travis
again?
Hamonic.
Thank you, sir. He was the first NHL player to opt out. Well, we now have a second player to opt out of the restarted National Hockey League season, which we now know will start on August the 1st. Sven Baertschi of the Vancouver Canucks has become the second National Hockey League player to opt out. He did not give a reason. The only comment out of the Vancouver Canucks is that Sven Baertschi has decided not to play. So I think we're going to see this more and more.
Yeah, it looks like it. Just starting.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, we're what, 3 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from these leagues and these seasons getting restarted, whether it's in Major League Baseball, the NBA, or the NHL. And every day it seems to be another couple guys opting out. And so we will see what happens. But that is our breaking news as we welcome you to this 527th episode of Unscripted. Simulcasting at the same time. We've got video over there. Hello, Mom. How are you? My mother refuses to watch the show. She says I've got a filthy mouth. And I've really cleaned it up since Chris turned the camera on. But regardless of that, we appreciate you joining us. And really, got to remind you one last time, this will be a bit of a shorter episode. But I will take the time to remind you folks that we still appreciate all of you taking the time to subscribe on all of the different avenues that Chris has given you to either now view or listen to Unscripted. And if you take a couple of extra seconds to push a subscribe button, we would be eternally grateful to all of you. Couple of things to end the week here on Unscripted for Chris and I, and we're going to start now. This is one of the most, and I was a fair to Midland baseball player back in my day. I made it basically as far as American Legion ball, which is glorified summer ball. But I like the game of baseball, not as much as I used to. But I think this is going to be near impossible for baseball players to do. And what I'm talking about is part of this new restart in Major League Baseball is that baseball players can't spit or high five during this most unusual season. How do you tell a baseball player not to spit? I mean, it's almost ingrained in a baseball player to spit and scratch. Mm-hmm. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even the most ardent hater of baseball, that maybe is even a woman, I'm not taking a shot at a woman, I'm just saying, generally speaking, there are more baseball fans that are men than are women, but it's just ingrained in baseball players to scratch and adjust their balls in the cup, and then obviously to scratch and spit, sometimes simultaneously. But according to these new rules and this restart of the baseball players cannot spit, they cannot high five, and one of the ways that they're going to try to minimize the urge to spit is that you cannot chew chewing tobacco, you cannot chew on sunflower seeds. So I guess I don't know this. I'm just throwing a guess out there, but how do baseball players keep their mouths busy now? I guess just bubble gum. I don't know what else, but you cannot spit, you cannot high five, and you're not allowed to chew tobacco, which you can't in the minor leagues anyway now. That's just purely for the major league levels, guys.
Disgusting.
It's terribly
Who
disgusting.
the hell chews tobacco?
Did you ever see? There was a baseball player years ago. His name was Brad Leslie. He was kind of a woebegone middle reliever, but he used to take this big wad of Red Man and then wrap it in bubble gum, and then do it that way. But I mean, I just don't know. I mean, are you going to have some little nerd sitting there on the first base and the third base dugout, and they're going, okay, Jansen's up to bat right now. Oh, he scratched. Oh, he can scratch, but he spit. He can't do that, so we'll have to take that off his paycheck. How are they gonna do this? Are they gonna have Joe West? And I use Joe West because that's really the only National League umpire I know anymore. Are they gonna have Joe West stop the game and say, okay, hold on, stop, timeout? Jansen was spitting over there in the dugout.
I'm going to award a run to the other team.
The other team gets, everybody moves up 90 feet, and Jansen, you're out. How are you going to dictate that? I think that's preposterous.
Fines after the game?
I don't know. That's why I said, are they going to, have some nerd in each dugout sitting here going, well, I just saw Jansen spitting over in the other dugout, so that's $100. Oh, he did it again. Oh, they just scratched there. That's $250. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, I know that we are going to see when these leagues restart, and in the case of the National Football League, get started again, we're going to see some weird shit out there. I know we are. We're going to see some things that we're never going to see again, I hope. I hope that we get this corona thing behind us by this time next year. Let's hope, please. Hopefully a vaccine at the least, and I think we can accomplish that with the whole world working together. But we are going to see some shit coming up here with the relaunch of the National Hockey League, the NBA, Major League Baseball, and then the launch in early September of this season for the National Football League. We are going to see some unbelievable things. But baseball players not spitting, I can't wait to see how they're going to police that. And I bet you they're going to pay some nerd to sit in the dugouts and at the end of the game, you go back up the runway, and all of a sudden, okay, here's what we got you for today. All right. You had a really good day today, Bryce. I'm taking a shot here at Bryce Harper. Let's see. You got one single. You struck out 3 times. You had a couple of outfield assists, but we caught you spitting 4 times, and we caught you scratching another 4 times. So we'll just deduct this off your paycheck.
Yeah. Hey, baseball radio has the most stats. Maybe they can throw that in there. It's like on base scratching percentage. On base spitting percentage.
I just don't see. I mean, I remember as a kid in our neighborhood in Wisconsin, we played a lot of sports because we had a lot of boys in our neighborhood, and we were always playing football or playing baseball or playing basketball or something. And even then, 7, 8, 9, 10. We were just emulating what we saw on television. Yeah. So we'd get up to bat, and we'd scratch a little, and then we'd spit and and do all this and play with. We didn't even have batting gloves on, but because the guys on TV did it, the Brewers did it, then we've got to do this too, and all this other crap. How do you get players after all this time they've been playing ball in their life? How do you get them How do you get them to refrain from spitting?
I don't know. Well, we're talking about baseball. So a new viewer of the podcast and listener of the podcast, Brent Davis in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Thanks for watching and listening.
How you doing?
Hey.
Go Rough Riders.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we're all Rough Rider fans here. So he sent a link that I found really interesting, and it was the price disparity of hot dogs at Major League ballparks. He was inspired by our discussion about Joey Chestnut last week.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if have you ever seen the difference from park to park in hot dog prices?
No.
Okay.
But see, remember when I went to ball games back in the day, media, you just go to the media kitchen or media lounge and just chow down. So.
Yeah. Okay. So how much do you think the most expensive hot dog is at just normal hot dog at a ballpark? What's the most expensive price and the least expensive price?
Well, I would think the most expensive price has got to be in New York at Yankee Stadium because of them being Nathan's hot dogs and everything else. I would think it's probably in New York, $12.
Okay, and what do you think the cheapest one is?
Probably at Miller Park in Milwaukee, because we're born and bred on hot dogs and beer. I'm going to say $6.50.
All right. Well, the most expensive hot dog, the most expensive hot dog is $7.
Okay, a little high there. Inflation.
And that is in Washington Nationals.
Really?
Interesting, right? And this is fairly predictable. The cheapest is Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, because nobody's there.
Yeah, exactly. $1.50.
Really?
$1.50 for a hot dog in Baltimore.
Well, I got to make this point. I don't know if a lot of people realize this or understand this or even know that this exists. And I'm going off topic here, but and thank you again, Brent, for your comments. Again, we wish and hope everybody takes the opportunity to do what Brent just did, and what Brett just did, we will do for you as well. Even if it's something, Mike's an idiot or Mike dresses like a kid or whatever, please feel free, and we will get it on our air.
I look like a kid today, don't get me wrong.
I guarantee you we will get it on our air. But people don't realize that when you are a patron at the Augusta National for the Masters, the prices have never changed. To this day, you can still get a hot dog for a couple bucks. You can still get a hamburger for a couple bucks. You can still get... the pricing literally is back in the 50s almost.
But these are people that are paying modern prices for memberships on a private course.
Well, they're paying big money now.
Yes.
They're paying big money
Yes.
to get tickets to go to the event. And there are two different things here. There are tickets sold for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice rounds, and then there are tickets sold for the actual Thursday through Sunday event. And I know a guy here from Calgary that went down years ago, couldn't get tickets to the regular event, but they would sell him, and he had to wait like 5 years for this. But he got tickets to go to the Monday through Wednesday practice rounds on the grounds and do the whole thing. But it's unbelievable how dirt cheap it is to eat at Augusta National. Now you're paying an arm and a leg to get in the door, but the food itself and the beer and everything is quite reasonable when they play the Augusta National.
So. A couple of notes there. Milwaukee Brewers are actually the 8th most expensive at $6. They're only $1 off.
Really?
Of Washington's 7.
Huh.
And then tied for second are the New York Mets, not the Yankees. The New York at $6.75. New York Mets and LA Dodgers tied right there.
Right.
The New York Yankees, and this shocked me. I thought they missed them. They are fourth. They are tied for third cheapest at $3.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, like Baltimore $1.50, Arizona $2, Miami and New York. Yankees $3.
I'll never forget the legendary Vin Scully, who was the play-by-play man for the Dodgers for 65 years at least. Retired a couple years ago finally, now in his 90s. But he made a living and made a fortune off every broadcast that he did for the Dodgers, not in Brooklyn, but in Los Angeles. So from 1958 on, Farmer John's. Those are the famous Dodger dogs out in Dodger Stadium. Farmer John's. Make sure you get to Dodger Stadium and you pick yourself up a Farmer John's hot dog. It's like, oh my God, Vin Scully schlepping hot dogs. But
actually, a question about that too. Brent also asked the question that he wanted to have our answer on. Do you think, with the advent of fake food, essentially, they've got the Beyond Meat burger and all this stuff now that's not real beef or anything. Number one, what do you prefer if you tried it? And number two, do you think that the makeup of some of these things will make it easier for someone like a Joey Chestnut to eat a lot of it? Maybe it'll digest a lot easier or something like that?
I don't know about that. But what was the first part of his question, Sam?
Have you tried any of these Beyond Meat or fake meat burgers, and how do they compare to beef for you?
Yeah, to your point, Brett, at Chris's suggestion, I have tried at A&W, I have tried their version of the plant burger or whatever the hell it is. And I'd be honest with you, Chris was absolutely right. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd make it a staple, though, because I'm just so ingrained with the beef burgers to this day, and I like turkey burgers. But I did try it. It was good. It was a little bit more expensive, which surprised me, I guess, a little bit. I thought it'd be cheaper to eat grass, but
It will be eventually, I think. But right now, it's still kind of rare. So
Yeah.
the supply and demand.
well, sure, and I get that. You're in your infancy of this new product, but I did like it. I would do it again, but my preference, I think, would always be with the dead cow.
Yeah, sure.
Just because I'm 55 and I'm set in my ways.
Mhm.
A lot of things to get to that we didn't get to in earlier episodes today. We have a new coaching hire in the National Hockey League. Congratulations to former, I know Lindy Ruff was obviously the coach at one time of the Buffalo Sabres because they got screwed in 1999 by the Dallas Stars. I'm trying to think, has Lindy Ruff been a head man anywhere else? Because he just got a new job. He has been named as of yesterday the new head coach for the New Jersey Devils. And for some reason, I want to say yes. I just can't picture what team he was the head coach of. Besides
those
Buffalo.
same Dallas Stars that beat him.
That's right. Okay, there we go. Okay, that must have been weird. So congratulations to Lindy Ruff. I had the opportunity years ago to meet Lindy Ruff here in Calgary when the Sabres were here once, and a very nice man. I think he's a good hockey coach, and I hope he does well with the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, I like him too.
The big news that I want to get Chris's discussion on happened like hours after Chris and I got together last week, and this obviously is that unbelievably massive contract extension signed by all-world quarterback, all-pro, Super Bowl MVP, most valuable player, Patrick Mahomes with the Kansas City Chiefs signs a massive 10-year contract extension, which ties him to the Chiefs until 2023. It's worth up to $503 million with the remaining years still on his rookie deal included, and on top of everything else, he has a no-trade clause in the contract. So I think it's pretty safe to say that Patrick Mahomes is tied to the Kansas City area till 2031. I think it's brilliant, but I think it's very, very gutsy at this point because of two reasons. He's deserving of it. I'm not saying that. He is the best quarterback in the National Football League right now. The things that he does are unbelievable. And what he did in that fourth quarter, that second half of the fourth quarter, to bring the Chiefs back from a deficit and end up winning Super Bowl whatever, 54 by 11 was amazing, and that's all on Mahomes. But does this hamper, or does this, I'll use the word hamper. Does this inhibit, maybe is a better word, moving forward in regard to Kansas City? Because, you and I have talked about this many times. It's always easier. You're seeing the form recently in the National Football League to have a quarterback on his first rookie contract, then be able to augment with some higher price pieces. But then when the quarterback goes to a second contract, there goes bye-bye all the nice pieces, like the Legion of Doom in Seattle when you sign Russell Wilson to a large contract extension. So does this hamper? It's got to, in a way. I don't care what anybody says, but I want to hear your spin on this. Does this hamper the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward in regard to acquiring top-notch talent?
Well, it absolutely does, but there's no other choice here. You didn't have a choice. You can't just not pay Patrick Mahomes or just hope he takes a couple million a year. It's just not going to work. Now, they do for the next 2 years still have him on the rookie deal, so you want to see a team that's all in to win. Yeah. I mean, they're the reigning Super Bowl champs. And the thing is, keep in mind, if it wasn't for that kind of chintzy 1 inch offside the year before, the Chiefs probably won the Super Bowl his first year as a starter too.
Great point.
Honestly,
yeah.
Like the Chiefs should probably have won the Super Bowl both years he started. As it stands, he has one Super Bowl, he has a league MVP, and he has a Super Bowl MVP. He's won everything you can win, and he's 25 years old.
Yeah.
And he is like the future of not just the Kansas City Chiefs, but he's the future of the NFL.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, he's the present as well. But yes, you're absolutely right. That has been what's gone on, especially with Russell Wilson in Seattle, where they can have him on the rookie deal, and then you can just load up the rest of the team. And that's what you're going to see Kansas City do these next 2 years, I'm sure. So you don't want to bet against the Kansas City Chiefs the next 2 years very badly. It'll be interesting to see if Lamar Jackson can continue doing what he has done, and then if he's going to get another $500 million contract as well. But there was no choice here. Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate total package. This is not just some guy who's pretty good at football. This guy has everything. This guy, and I don't like to say this too easily, this guy has no weaknesses.
No.
None.
No.
Not as a, if you have to come up with one, I don't know, I'm not sold on his girlfriend being wife material, but other than that, everything else, the guy doesn't seem to have any weaknesses at all. And he's just unbelievable. He's got infectious leadership. His teammates love him. He's photogenic. He's a great spokesperson for the league. He's a great role model from what we know of him so far. He can win. He's got unlimited arm talent. He's got accuracy. He's got strength. He's got scrambling ability. What else he's coachable.
And he dislocates his knee and comes back 3 weeks later.
Yeah, and he's a genetic freak in terms of recovery time. Like, it's unbelievable. This isn't like, the Jim Carrey of the Washington Capitals who, has one amazing year and then just sucks after that.
Right.
It's like, no, I think we've shown if Patrick Mahomes sucks and he's just gotten lucky this far, then I won't know what to make of anything going forward. I'm pretty convinced that Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. He's the best quarterback in the league. Probably the best player in the league, with apologies to Aaron Donald. That's apples and oranges, so tough to compare.
For sure, yeah.
And so Patrick Mahomes is the man, and he is the face of the NFL for the next decade plus. And I have no bad things to say to the Kansas City Chiefs for locking him up as long as humanly possible. I don't see a way that this is a bad deal. He's still, when he finishes his contract, he's, I think, 36.
Yep.
Like, he's not... there are guys.
You could sign another contract somewhere.
Yeah, there are still guys, Reese and Brady, still playing at a decent level in their 40s. So I can't fault this contract whatsoever. I know our new friend Brent Davis there in Saskatoon said that he doesn't think it's worth it. He thinks that's too much term, too much money for anybody. And everyone's going to say, for the same reasons you did, that it really hurts building the rest of the team. But it's the reality. You know what? Having a Patrick Mahomes is a pretty good problem to have. And as everyone made fun of this week, our favorite whipping boy, Ryan Pace, good for Ryan Pace for saving the Bears $500 million by not drafting Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's hilarious that, is this contract too much? Well, obviously. But it's the market value for a guy that has accomplished everything that he's accomplished and isn't 25 years old. But think about it this way. He just surpassed Mike Trout, our one baseball buddy that we both admire and like, just surpassed Mike Trout for the most lucrative contract in sports history. But I don't think Mike Trout has anything to worry about in this regard. Yes, we know that Patrick Mahomes' contract has just surpassed Mike Trout's contract as the most lucrative in sports history. But the difference between both of those contracts is this. I don't know right off the top of my head what the guarantee is on Mahomes' contract, but Mike Trout's contract, all $427 million, is guaranteed.
Crazy. That's
the difference. So
yeah,
Mike isn't going to worry about anything. Mike should be sending a congratulatory note to Patrick Mahomes and say, I hope you have a good tax advisor, something like this. But congratulations to both of them. But again, it'll be interesting to see how long Andy Reid stays around in Kansas City. And the reason I say this, think about it this way. Andy Reid is 60-some years old already, wins his first Super Bowl title back in February. Congratulations. Love Coach Reid. And now, as you pointed out correctly, he has 2 years still remaining on his original rookie deal. I wouldn't be surprised that Chiefs management loads up this team for the next 2 years and hopefully get at least one more Super Bowl championship, and then Andy Reid calls it a career. Because at that time, once they get into this 10-year extension with Mahomes, they aren't going to be able to afford some of the warm and fuzzies that they have on their roster right now. So I don't know anything. I haven't talked to anybody. I'm just speculating here. At 60-some years old, how much longer does Andy Reid have to do this now that he has finally gotten that first championship? I think obviously they have the capacity to do it again. And especially if they can load up this team a couple more times during the 2 years left on Mahomes' rookie deal. But then I think things get a little bit more, stringent maybe in regard to how you spend your money in Kansas City, because you owe this guy a boatload for the next 10 after these first two.
Yeah, I think Andy Reid, he'll want to stay around for at least those 2 years for sure and try to win more Super Bowls. Yeah. It'll be tough to walk away from coaching Mahomes even once they don't have much money for the rest of the team. So I could see him, if they're still winning, maybe he tries to keep going. But yeah, he'll stay around for 2 more years at least, and who knows after that. And congratulations to Patrick Mahomes I read it reported that it was the first time an NFL player has ever set the record for highest paid athlete in sports. It's always been baseball or basketball before. An NFL player doesn't usually do that. I mean, they're only playing 16 games a year instead of 82 or 162.
Exactly.
And good for Patrick Mahomes. Couldn't happen to him.
I wonder if this changes the idea in Dak Prescott's house. He ain't worth Mahomes' money. I'm sorry. He ain't worth Mahomes' money. I know he signed his franchise tender, and next year he's got to play at the paltry sum of $31.4 million, but he's not Mahomes. I'm telling you right now.
To Dak Prescott, I would say, and I don't mind Dak Prescott. Seems like a nice young man. I don't know if he'll get this reference, but I would simply say to Dak Prescott, Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
I get it.
I know.
That's very bright.
I figured
it's
you
very
would,
bright.
yeah.
Real quick, I know we got to run, but I just wanted to make mention of this. Of all the things in sports that right now, there's just so much uncertainty. I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen. You can set a date all you want, but who knows what's going to happen, especially obviously more in these contact sports. You're seeing golf going on, which is great, but I thought this was worthy to make our stage here on Unscripted, and so I'll be real quick about it. Wimbledon is not being played this year, and you know I hate tennis. I don't care. But I thought it was cool that the organization of Wimbledon will pay out $12.5 million in prize money to 620 players despite the cancellation of the event. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Just evenly?
256 of the players that would have competed in the main draw on both the women and the men's side will each receive £25,000, which comes to $31,000, while 224 other qualifiers will receive 12.5, so £12,500, which comes out to $15,600 in the money that you and I are aware of. Players competing in doubles and mixed doubles will also be compensated, but I didn't get those numbers. They weren't available.
Where's the money coming from?
I have no idea.
That's really nice, but that's not even like you're part of a...
That's like the Packers fund that they keep, the emergency fund. The Packers have $400 million in an emergency fund that they can use for whatever they see fit. I don't know. Maybe Wimbledon has an emergency fund, but
the Packers would give that to employees, though. These tennis players are not employed by Wimbledon.
Correct. But
so that's where I get confused. That's very nice of them. That's wonderful.
I'm just looking more at the generosity of it
That's
in regard to, during these tough times and during these, and again, tough times for Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer mean a little bit different than tough times for me. But again, I think it's a great gesture. And again, I don't know a lot of the details, obviously, and where this money is coming from. But all I know is that in this day and age and these times that we're living in, I'm very impressed by the Wimbledon people. And I thought that should make Unscripted.
Cool. Nice.
We got to run on this 527th episode of Unscripted. As always, we thank you for participating both via the video and during the audio. Whatever floats your boat, folks, we're happy either way. We appreciate it. We appreciate you and hope that you continue to do so. Having said all that, for the executive producer of Unscripted, Mr. Chris Fluke, I'm Mike Jansen. Until next time.